Cool.
All right. Hey, everyone. We know we're the last session before lunch, so we keep it really short and succinct here. My name is Casey Lee. I'm a senior product manager on the AWS Marketplace team, and with me I have my colleague, Sagar Khasnis, who's a solutions architect. We're here to talk to you really quickly about the AWS Marketplace, what it is, and how it helps you deploy container-based software onto the AWS container services. So Marketplace is a catalog of over 4,800 products from third-party vendors that are really easy to deploy onto AWS's services. There's a wide range of software with pay-as-you-go pricing models, so you're billed only for what you use. You use AWS Iamb credentials for both license checks and governance on who gets access to the software within your organization. And it's integrated with your AWS bill, so you don't have to set up another vendor in your billing systems. You use the same payment method and payment terms you have with AWS, and you use our cost tools to be able to track usage and costs. So how do you get started? 3 simple steps. First, you go to the Marketplace website, look through the products that support container-based deployments. You subscribe, and then your AWS account gets access to the images that are stored on a secure private ECR repo. And then you use those same credentials to get the container products started. And then you're billed based on what you use. It could be based on number of EKS pods or ECS tasks or some unit that the vendor has defined. You get all of those charges metered and aggregated onto your AWS bill, and you pay monthly using your current payment terms. There's a real wide selection of products on the Marketplace. Here's a snapshot of what you could use it for. There's products to help you do security and networking on your clusters. There's DevOps and application monitoring products for your applications, and purpose-built business applications and analytics applications that run in containers. So now we'll just jump over to a demo to show you how it all works.
All right. Thanks, Casey. So let's take this thing for a quick test drive. So this is the AWS Marketplace page. This is where you would come in to find, buy, and deploy any third-party software. And at reInvent last year, we launched container images also, so you can launch those on EKS, ECS, or Fargate. Let's say I'm a developer and I'm looking for a content management platform. And let's say I've decided on Solo Dev. So for me to go and procure Solo Dev, it's as easy as searching for it. Now I have 7 results. I don't know what to do. How do I focus in on the product that I want? So on the left side of your screen, you can see all of these filters. I know that I'm going to deploy this on containers. And then I also know that my administrator has spun up an EKS cluster for me. So there is a supported Amazon services filter here. I would select EKS. I have 1 result. Obviously, I'll go with that. Once I click on it, I see the product overview. So this talks about what the product does, all of the highlights and features. As you scroll down, you would also see a product summary, which talks about operating system supported and the Amazon infrastructure that will be supported. Now, here's an important point, the pricing information. Normally, when you procure software, it's usually you pay in bulk or you procure licenses for it. In this case, you really pay as you go for your software as well as your infrastructure. So that's the real value prop here for you. So when you look at this, this is charged per pod, per hour. And the pricing is totally decided by the seller. And there's also an annual pricing component if you wish to go with a traditional pricing model. All right, once I'm OK with the pricing model, I would just click on Continue to Subscribe. And in this case, I've already subscribed to save some time. But before you click on Subscribe, make sure you read the end user license agreement. I'm assuming all of you read that. Let's click on Continue to Configuration. You can see there's a few options here, such as the fulfillment option. It's only Kubernetes for this, obviously. And then there's the software version. There's only 1 available by Solo Dev right now, but they can add more as you go. And then once I'm ready to launch, I would essentially go to the launch page, which is the final step of the procurement experience. And here it says it has 5 container images as a part of the solution. So AWS Marketplace also does security vulnerability scanning on all of these images. And you have two deployment mechanisms available. CloudFormation, for those of you who don't know, it's infrastructure as code for AWS. And then there's Helm chart installation. So with the context of this crowd, we're going to go ahead with Helm chart installation. So let's click on Helm charts. This GitHub is made available by the vendor in this case. And there's a few easy steps that they've provided. So step one is subscribe to the product on AWS Marketplace, which we've already done. And step two is to create an EKS cluster via EKS control or CUTL, however you want to call it. So as you can see, let me just bring my terminal there. I've already set up a cluster for us. The next step here is to go ahead and associate the Iamb OIDC provider. So when you spin up an EKS cluster, an OIDC provider is already set up. All you have to do is go ahead and associate that in your environment. So I would go and add this command to associate that. It takes a couple of seconds, really. And at this point, if you go to the AWS console in the Iamb IDP page, you would see an IDP provider listed for you. The next step is to really create the service account. So when you create a service account, you also associate an Iamb role with it. So for that role, we will go ahead and create an Iamb permissions policy. And for Marketplace, you need to create this permission policy in your environment. So you can see the action is AWS Marketplace and register usage. This really does two things. One is it checks for entitlement. Basically, it checks if your software has been subscribed to in your AWS account, and we already did that. And the second thing it does is that it gets the right to send billing records to AWS Marketplace. So every hour, your bill is calculated on a pay-as-you-go basis, and you don't have to pay in bulk. All right, so the policy is created. Now I'm going to run AWS Iamb create policy. And this will return an Iamb policy with an ARN. We'll use this ARN while creating the service account. So again, we are using EKS control for all of this. This is how you create a service account. You can see there's an attached policy ARN here. We use the same policy ARN that we did in the previous step. Now, when we create this service account, it has the ability to now send metering records to Marketplace. That way, we calculate your bill. All right, so the service account is created. The only thing remaining now is to use Helm and install the charts provided by this seller to us. So to do that, are we still deploying the service account?
Yep.
OK. Should take a couple of seconds. Once it's done, we'll go ahead and pull the charts. And all right. OK, awesome. All right, these are the charts provided by SoloDev. These are available. You can go and try these out yourself. At this point, I'm just going to go update my Helm repo. And to show you, you can see my charts are now updated. So these charts are directly pulled from SoloDev. Now, for this, we are using Tiller. So when you use Helm, you usually use Tiller. Tiller runs in the management plane. But in this case, we recommend that you run Tiller in your local host environment for security. And you do that by creating another terminal on the side, and then open a port 44135 on your local host. All right? So Tiller has now started. Let's tell Helm that, hey, Tiller started and it's listening on 44135. We just added that info here. Almost done, guys. Helm repo update. Once this is done, we'd be ready to install the SoloDev charts that are available. All right. OK, so simple installation command. You add the name of the chart that you want to use, the service account that we just created 2 steps ago. In this case, we are using GP2 EBS storage, and obviously using very secure passwords here. You don't want to do that in production. All right, so it looks like the deployment is complete. There's a config map created. There's a PVC also created with this. And then there are 5 pods. So remember, we saw 5 container images when we subscribed. These are the 5 pods that are created as a part of this deployment. So if I do a kubectl, I'm still not sure if I should call it cutl or control. Different people tell me different things. All right, so you can see our pods are now, most of them are running. If you didn't subscribe to the marketplace listing, you would see an image pull back off, if you've ever seen that. So that is really important, and that's why we created that policy in Iamb to talk back to AWS. So once it's ready, we would just go and pull the host name of the load balancer, and when we hit the load balancer, we will see solo dev deployed. So that's as easy. We took about 8 or 9 minutes, considering the first few minutes we couldn't connect the computer. But it's as easy as this to go ahead and deploy something off of AWS Marketplace. I would also want to show you real quick how the billing console looks. So if you go to AWS billing console, your build pay as you go. Really, that's an important thing you should take back with you here, and that's the true value prop. Anyone can go and launch these Helm charts, but when you go and talk to an organization, they care about billing, how much dollars they're paying for it. So pay as you go is the true value prop of Marketplace. And you can see solo dev, I've obviously been running this quite a bit this week. There's a $30 charge on my account, but depending on how much I use, it would go up and down. There's also Cost Explorer. If you've not used this, you can group services by individual marketplace services, or you can just add it as an entire marketplace offering and create dashboards for yourself. If you're using AWS Organize,